Coming up on today's episode of Yoga with Goga. So find a comfortable standing position, coming into tadasana, bringing your hands to your heart center, the Master Yogis. So in tadasana or samastiti here, you bring your palms to face towards the front of the room and just root your feet firmly on the ground. You want to feel like you're connected to the earth. And then inhale, sweep your hands up overhead, bring your palms to touch. And then exhale so that you can fold forward. If it's too much, you can bend your knees slightly. And then come into halfway lift, bringing your hands on your knees or your shins, creating a flat back. Press your hands down and then step back, coming into plank pose. So that you can bend your elbows and come into chaturanga or the low push-up. Upward facing dog, opening the chest, looking towards the front. And then downward facing dog, gaze at the space between your feet. We stay here for about 5 breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Bringing in that nice ujjayi breath, 4 more breaths. Clear. With every exhale, so that you can bend your knees and so that you can step forward, coming into halfway lift, having a flat back. And then exhale so that you can fold forward. If you can press your palms down, why not? Sweep your hands up overhead, bringing your palms to touch. And then bring your hands to your heart center, then release them by the sides of the body. Let's do that again. Inhale, sweep your hands up, creating a big circle, bringing your palms to touch. Exhale, pull your belly in as you fold forward. And then halfway lift, flat back, hands on your shins. Press your hands down, stepping back into plank pose. Elbows bent, coming into low push-up or chaturanga. Upward facing dog, open the heart, gaze up. And then tuck your chin in into downward facing dog. Your 5 deep ujjayi breaths start now. Inhaling, exhaling. With every exhale, so that you can even melt the chest more towards the thighs. If it's too much on your hamstrings, you can bend your knees slightly. Otherwise, release the posture by stepping to the front of the mat. Coming into halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold in. And then extended mountain pose, bringing your palms to touch. Once again, hands to your heart center. Release the hands by the sides of your body. So this is sun salutation. And let's do one more round of this. Inhale, sweep your hands up. Exhale, bow forward, bending your head down towards the ground. Halfway lift, flat back, bringing your hands on your shins or your knees. Step back into plank pose. Bend your elbows into low push-up, feeling that stretch. Upward facing dog, opening the stretch on the belly, and then downward facing dog, gazing towards the space between your feet. You can bend one knee at a time if it's too much, as you stay here for your 5 deep ujjayi breaths. Inhaling and then exhaling. Bend your knees, walk, step or jump to the top of the mat, coming into halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, bow forward. Extended mountain pose, rise up once again, bringing your palms to touch. Release your hands through your heart center, samastiti here. Alright, let's do a bonus round here. Inhale, sweep your hands up, palms touch. Exhale, bow forward. Halfway lift, flat back, gazing forward. Step back into plank pose. Bend your elbows into chaturanga. Upward facing dog, open the heart. And then downward facing dog, exhale. So sun salutation is just one of the ways of creating that nice heat in the body before we start getting into yoga postures. It normally warms up the body, giving you like a full workout in its own right. One more breath. Exhale. When you're ready, gaze at the top of the mat, bend your knees, walk, step or jump to your hands. Coming into halfway lift, flat back, gazing forward. Exhale, bow forward. Extended mountain pose, rise up, root to rise, rooting your feet firmly, hands to your heart center, release into samastiti here. Okay, so making the adjustments now, let's go to sun salutation B. So bend your knees a lot so that you can bring your feet together, squeeze your knees together, squeeze your feet together, and then slowly start bending your knees pressing the knees against each other, and then sitting on an imaginary chair, sweep your hands up overhead. Try to bring your triceps to your ears, and then make sure you're not sticking your bum out. So you have to tuck your tailbone in by pulling the belly in, creating a flat spine. 5 deep breaths on your chair pose. Inhale, exhale. This is a very good workout for the legs. You'll feel like a burn on your thighs. Stay with that sensation. Exhale, and then last, bow forward, bow forward, bow forward. Halfway lift flat back. Press your hands down when you're ready and step back into chaturanga. So you come into high push-up, bend into low push-up, upward facing dog, opening the chest and the heart, and then down facing dog. Good job. So prepare. So you're now going to see that you can bring your right leg to the space between your hands. So that you can just bring it slowly and then spin your back foot flat on the ground. So keeping your right knee bent at 90 degrees, so that you can sweep your hands alongside the ears, bringing those triceps alongside the ears, coming into what you call warrior one. If you can bring your palms to touch, why not? Otherwise, you can just stay with your palms mirroring each other. And then with every exhale, you're sinking your tailbone even down, feeling that nice stretch and bend on your legs for 5 deep breaths, deep ujjayi breaths, the breath of the ocean. And then when you're ready, without straightening the knee, hands down and step back, coming into chaturanga, the low push-up. Upward facing dog, inhale, and then exhale, down facing dog. We do the same thing on the left side. So you step your left leg between your hands and then spin your right foot flat on the ground, keeping the front knee bent, in this case the left knee, so that you can twist your upper body so that the belly button is pointing towards the front, and then sweep your hands alongside the ears, coming into that warrior, the warrior that is you, virabhadrasana. And then keep intentionally twisting your upper body towards the left side as you sink more into that left knee. And then when you're ready, release your hands down, stepping back into chaturanga, upward facing dog, open the heart, and then downward facing dog. Exhale, exhale, exhale. So you can do 2 or 3 rounds of this sun salutation B. So stay here for 5 breaths. With every exhale, so that you can gaze more towards the space between your feet, or if you want more challenge, you can gaze towards your belly as you melt the heart a bit more. And then when you are ready, so that you can travel to the top of the mat. So you can do this either by bending your knees, stepping back, or jumping to the top of the mat very intentionally. And then coming into halfway lift, flat back, gazing forward, and then with an exhale, so that you can fold forward. Then we still go back to chair pose. Bend your knees, squeeze your knees together, sweep your hands up into chair pose, trying to sit on an imaginary chair, and then samasthiti. Come back into standing, even standing posture. Alright, so let's do one more round of that. So bend your knees, coming into utkatasana, chair pose, sweeping your hands up overhead. If you can bring your palms to touch, why not? Otherwise, fold forward. Halfway lift, looking front. You can even keep your fingertips down on the ground. Step back and come into low push-up or chaturanga. Upward facing dog, open the heart, gazing towards the front. Tuck your chin in, take down facing dog. Warrior one on the right side, bring your right leg between your hands, sweep your hands up. If you can bring your palms to touch, hands down, chaturanga. Let's switch into warrior one on the left side. Upward facing dog, open. Downward facing dog, exhale. So you step the left leg forward into warrior one or virabhadrasana 1. Take your hands up overhead into warrior 1. Feeling that nice stretch on the legs, hands down. Chaturanga or the low push-up, which is a very strong core exercise. Upward facing dog, open the heart, and downward facing dog, exhale. You can check out the dogs of yoga. We did it a while back. Bend your knees, step back to the front, coming into halfway lift, trying to flow nicely, fold forward. Chair pose, utkatasana, knees bent, lift up your hands up, exhale, fold forward, so that we just carry on. Halfway lift, looking front, flat back, step back into plank pose, and find your way into chaturanga, dandasana. Upward facing dog, open the heart. And downward facing dog, exhale, exhale, exhale. Warrior number 1 on the right side. Bend your knee. Take your hands alongside the ears, feeling that nice stretch. Maybe open into warrior 2, trying to create a T with your arms gazing towards your right middle finger. The only time you can point your middle finger to your face. Maybe take peaceful warrior, gazing up and back as you take the left hand up on the left thigh, and then windmill your hands down on the ground. Chaturanga, dandasana. Upward facing dog, inhale, and downward facing dog. You can check out the warriors of yoga where we explore these postures. Left leg between your hands, sweep your hands up overhead, hands alongside your ears, and then maybe open into warrior 2, gazing towards your left middle finger. Maybe so that you can spin that left hand up and find peaceful warrior, the reverse warrior, and then windmill your hands down into chaturanga. Elbows bent upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Exhale, exhale. Bend your knees when you're ready, and then so that you can float, step, or travel to your hands. There are many ways of traveling to our hands, but you can see that you can float, walk, jump. There are many ways. After your 5 deep ujjayi breaths, inhale, exhale. Step forward or jump to your hands, coming into halfway lift. Nice, smoothly. Exhale, fold forward. Ready. Chair pose, utkatasana. Bend your knees. One last chair pose, feeling the burn on the thighs, and then come back to samasthiti, even standing. You can modify some of these postures this way. So for instance, if you're in down dog and you're struggling to bring your leg, just take your, instead of bringing your leg directly like that, so that you can take the leg out like you're drawing a circle, expanding the surface area, and then see how smoothly it lands between your hands. And then you can spin your back foot and then come into your warrior 1. So that's one modification of getting the leg to come between your hands if you're struggling. For chaturanga, if you're struggling to bring chaturanga, you can drop your knees down, chest and chin come down, and then maybe cross your feet like that. Otherwise, you can just drop your knees down like that, just cross the ankles and stay here, and then so that you can bend the elbows like that, hovering over the ground. You just want to create your upper body to be parallel. If none of this doesn't work and you're struggling maybe with up dog, just drop your chest and come into cobra pose. So it works very well. Otherwise, drop your knees. Thank you so much for joining the practice. Namaste.